Significant international soccer matches, but none may be more important than tonight's match for the present and future success of RSL. Inter Milan brings 108 years of history, 18 Serie A league titles, and a host of star talent to the Wasatch Front for an international friendly against the Claret and Cobalt. And we'll bring it to you next on the RSL Network.
Too much change too fast. They've lost too many players.
The way that this team is playing and certainly the results they are getting are nothing like what we have seen in the past.
It's a huge letdown. They expect to be in the playoffs.
If you believe, then just stand up.
Saved by Ronaldo!
Morales has crossed it. Jordan has scored!
Beckerman shot from distance, off the post and in!
To give RSL the lead! Morales one time! And Rio Tinto erupts!
Welcome to Rio Tinto Stadium tonight, an international exhibition. RSL hosting Inter Milan. The pregame show is presented by RC Willey. At RC Willey, Sony 4K Ultra High Definition TVs start at just $799. RC Willey, your home, your way. Good evening. I'm David James, along with Brian Dunseth. And Dunny, tonight, something a little unusual. These international exhibitions, we saw some of them in the early days of RSL, but we haven't seen many of them lately.
Yeah, I think the mantra of trophies over friendlies is one thing, but the reality is as this league grows, so does the interest, not only in Major League Soccer, but a team like Real Salt Lake. How are they pulling players into the Salt Lake Valley? Where does their reach end up? And ultimately, when you're able to look at a team like Inter Milan, who are coming off 4th place in Serie A in 2015-16, qualifying for Europa League once again after missing out on both Europa League and Champions League, this is a great opportunity. It's the start of their preseason. They've got plenty of games before the start of Serie A, but this is a great opportunity to showcase not only Real Salt Lake, but Major League Soccer as a brand against one of the most historic and iconic teams in international football. 18
Serie A titles, 5 in a row, but none since 2010. They've really been kind of rebuilding. Last year, not a very strong finish, but still their best season since that 2010 championship. Now, everyone loves a good Italian soap opera. How's the transfer window looking, Dunny? Any big names? Any rumors you've heard?
Well, there's plenty of names when it comes to Inter Milan, especially when you have an investment over $300 million from a Chinese consortium. The reality is right now this team is led by a young Argentine named Mauro Icardi. 6 years old, he left Rosario, Argentina. He went to Barcelona's youth academy, and since then has been nothing but phenomenal. When you talk about speed and strength and athleticism, with an incredible left foot, this is Mauro Icardi. And through this offseason, there's been plenty of conversations about Icardi. He's been linked to Arsenal in the English Premier League. His wife is his agent. There's always going to be speculation around a young talent like Mauro Icardi. But tonight, alongside another Argentine, Rodrigo Palacio from Boca Juniors fame, this is going to be a front-heavy, attack-loaded team, even with some of the players missing because of Copa America duty and Euro 2016. There's Palacios. What a fantastic striker he was with Boca Juniors. He got his start over in Italy at Genoa. But while guys like Ever Banega, Gary Medel, even Perisic aren't with the team right now, they will join up in the next couple of weeks. That being said, Kondogbia, you talk about Felipe Melo, this team right now, Handanovic in goal, is some big name players in the world of international football.
The big names for RSL, we're going to see many of them. We will not see all of them. And of course, we will see liberal substitution. So it may only be 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. But here is the starting 11 for RSL, brought to you by Life Vantage. Find your personal or professional freedom by partnering with LifeVantage.
Yeah, Jeff Attinella in goal. Chris Wingard over on the left. Tony Beltran on the right. Hamilton Olave alongside Justin Glad. Kyle Beckerman, John Sturzer protects that back four. Jordan Allen pulls the strings tonight. Burrito on one side, Plata on the other. Yura Movsisian spearheads the attack.
When we come back, 108 years of history on Serie A, the 18-time champs, Inter Milan. But first, let's check in with Jeff Cassar. Dunny talking to him a few minutes ago about international soccer, building a club, and building a business all at the same time.
Jeff, reality is Real Salt Lake gets to introduce their squad to an international audience tonight against Inter Milan. How important is it as a club, opportunities like this? Not too often do we see international friendlies come through Rio Tinto Stadium.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. It's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity to showcase our club to a national audience, showcase, how our academy system's working for our team, and how we've, grown so many homegrown talents that are going to be participating in this game. It's another opportunity for players to audition for me for the upcoming games that we're going to have, and we're calling it it's a friendly, but there's a lot at stake for a lot of individuals on our team.
Yeah, to build off that, you've got the game Friday against San Jose, but yet at the same time, that opportunity for younger players, how important is it to kind of see a little bit of a bump in some of the play for these young kids getting a chance here on the big stage at Rio Tinto?
Yeah, you want to see a reaction. You want to see how they deal with adversity, not quite knowing their opponent, whereas typically they know a lot of what's going to happen before the game with video and how we coach. But this one is we're just going out there. We're going to talk a little bit about how they play, but it's more about what we do and how we react.
How do you go about managing the minutes for the veteran guys? I mean, I know at some stage this is a workout per se, but still you want to make sure that you got everyone healthy on the backside of this.
Without a doubt, in the week of training, in the cycle of training, this is an intense day for us. So it's no different, and whether they're playing 30, 60, we want this to be intense, get out of the game what we can, and get ready for San Jose.
Jeff, good luck tonight.
Thanks, man.
Inter Milan getting ready to kick off their season. They're here. We'll take a look at their starting 11 and what RSL can expect next. Stay with us on the RC Willie pregame show. Show. RC Willie delighted to bring you the Magnolia Home Collection by Joanna Gaines, now available at all RC Willie locations. Tonight, RSL getting ready to host Inter Milan. And in the history of Italian soccer, of European soccer, this is a huge club.
Yep.
But their supporters, their fans, probably a little frustrated by the last few years. We can talk a little more about the transfer window and the guys they're chasing and the guys other people are chasing and how that may all play out. How close do you think they are to being one of the super clubs that they really want to be, to going toe-to-toe with some of the bigger names in Europe?
I think that's a very difficult question to answer. The reality is, you look at where Juve is in the big scheme of things, Juventus, and being able to sell an Alex Vidal, being able to move a Carlitos Tevez, the conversations around Paul Pogba and 100 million euros. The difficulty, as Roberto Mancini has come back to Inter Milan after his stint at Manchester City, is where is the money coming from? The infrastructure that's needed financially to go out and purchase players and find impact players. Well, you could sell that man, Mauro Icardi, which a lot of people are saying is an unsellable talent at this point. But at a bare minimum, you're talking $45 million to buy him out of Inter Milan. The reality is he has 52 goals in 100 appearances through all competition. And he's just 23 years old. He's that good, and yet he only has one international appearance for Argentina. It's a little bit interesting, too. His wife is actually his agent, so it becomes a little bit different. But as we said, Roberto Mancini, as the first game officially in preseason, he's going to kind of go with this 4-4-2 formation with a couple players moving in terms of their starting 11. Handanovic in goal, D'Ambrosio over on the left-hand side, Ansaldi over on the right, Miranda alongside Ranocchia, Kondogbia is going to protect alongside the Brazilian Felipe Melo, Biabiani over on one side, Kenir Erkin from Fenerbahce, the Turkish international, usually a left back, will play wide left, and then up top alongside Mauro Icardi, it'll be Rodrigo Palacio, the 34-year-old.
When we return, a player who's used to the spotlight, who's used to big international matches from Copa to the World Cup, Kyle Beckerman, getting ready to make his 9th All-Star Game appearance, getting ready to face Arsenal in San Jose. He'll talk with Dunny coming up on the RC Willie pregame show. The pregame show is presented by RC Willie. Shop the clearance center inside RC Willie for clearance savings. Also find savings on new furniture, including twin mattresses, for just $49. July 28th, San Jose hosting the MLS All-Star Game. The MLS All-Stars will be facing longtime EPL power Arsenal.
San Jose head coach Dom Kinnear had some tough ones to make. David Bingham, his backup goalkeeper with Andre Blake, Beasler, Birnbaum, Lawrence Simon, Andrew Farrell, Liam Ridgewell, Keegan Rosenberry, Brandon Vincent, Kendall Waston, no Jelle Van Dam making that list of defenders for Dominic Kinnear. When you kind of step into the midfield, it's the who's who. Kyle Beckerman, Mauro Diaz, part of the commissioner's pick from Don Garber at Major League Soccer. Giovanni Dos Santos, Jermaine Jones, Kaká, Sasha Kleshton, Darlington Nagbe, Andrea Pirlo, Will Trapp, no Diego Valeri. And then up top, Clint Dempsey, Didier Drogba, Sebastian Giovinco, Kyle Larin, Ignacio Piatti, David Villa, Chris Wondolowski, no Fernando Adi, no Robbie Keane. Some really tough decisions to make, but fans have spoken, and this is the team that will face Arsenal next Thursday in San Jose.
Kyle Becker made 8 straight All-Star Game appearances. Missed last year, but the commissioners picked this year. So for the 9th time in 10 years, he has headed the MLS All-Star Game. He talked about it with Dunny just a few minutes ago.
Kyle, first and foremost, congratulations. 9th All-Star Game. Man, where's the time come?
Yeah, it's flown by, but it sure is. It's always an honor, and I'm excited to represent MLS, RSL, and see if we can put on a good fight against Arsenal, which is a great team, and it should be exciting.
From Arsenal to tonight against Inter Milan, what does a game like this mean for the club, for the fans, just for the newcomers to the sport here in Salt Lake?
Well, I mean, it's a friendly in a way, but it's just kind of a way to get RSL the name in around the world. I mean, people are going to look at the result tonight, and so it does have some importance to it, even though it is a friendly. So we're excited. It's good for the young guys, and even I'm excited, to play against some guys I've never played against, and so it's all around. It's just it's a good time for soccer in this state, and it highlights our club.
From international appearances to all-star games to kind of international friendlies, how do you guys as a unit kind of approach a game like this?
Well, it is a bit challenging, I'm sure, for the coach and us players, because Friday against San Jose, that's the most important thing. And but it's going to give a lot of experience, and we're looking to use it as a way to kind of build some momentum. If we can get a good result tonight, or put on a good performance, then it'll help us going forward. So it's a way to look at it and kind of see if we can kind of use it as a way to springboard for the second half of the season.
Good luck tonight.
All right, thanks.
When we come back on the RC Willie pregame show, RSL owner Deloy Hansen. Why play an international friendly in the middle of a congested schedule? How does this fit into his big picture plans long-term for RSL? That's next on the RC Willie pregame show. powerhouse. Now, you might ask yourself why, in the middle of a very tense Western Conference playoff race, in the middle of a very congested schedule, New England was just here Saturday. Friday, San Jose will be here for a critical match as San Jose tries to make it an 8-team race for the 6 playoff spots by picking up 3 points on the road here. Why in the middle of all that would RSL decide to schedule an international friendly and put even more pressure on a group of players? They're playing a lot of big games here in a very compact schedule. I posed that question earlier to RSL owner Deloy Hansen.
What people don't understand is that the European teams are building world markets. So they rotate. If you're Manchester United, every third year your team is going to spend 3 weeks in the United States. And they need a landing place. So when we build the new academy, we actually have designed a 5,000 square foot training center for international teams to come, be able to train on our fields. They can go right to the airport and fly to LA and play in the Coliseum. They can go up to Vancouver and play, and they can base out of Utah. So we've talked to a number of international teams. They love the idea.
The European teams that play these intense schedules,
Yeah.
they don't have a salary cap.
Yeah.
They have much bigger rosters than MLS teams.
Exactly.
And you're under a lot of pressure to put the money you have under the cap into your starting 11 to make them as good as possible. And MLS
There's no
teams
question.
routinely, watch the budget with the second 11, not with the first 11.
2 years ago, before we got TAM money, we added $800,000 to our budget, and we're able to get $1.5 million a year in allocation if we have homegrown players that we can sell to other teams. So Real Salt Lake has clearly set a vision that we're going to meet our salary cap and then seek $1 million to $1.5 million in allocation each year, which means from players number 9 through, let's say, 18, we would have literally $100,000 more per player. Now, if we had that today, that full allocation, we could field players all the way to 18 that would be traditionally very near our 9 and 10 slots.
How far away are you from having an extra $100,000? I mean, that's
I
a
think-
great plan and it sounds good, but how
Well,
long till reality?
The point of it is building a great academy, building the Monarchs so that you can train that academy. People can see those players play. We have 2 players on loan as we speak, and I won't go through the details, but those contracts could yield us next year $1 million in allocation money. So we're at the front end of what I call the allocation bank, and we will be building with the Monarchs and that to fill that bank.
So to bring this all the way back around to Inter Milan, you need these teams coming to town. They see your guys. That's a positive. They're going to see your academy kids. It's almost like sending someone on a trial without
Yeah.
sending them on a trial.
There's no question that European teams will get to know Real Salt Lake. So we are introducing ourselves to the world. They'll be where our U16s and U18s train. They'll be where the Monarchs train. These guys will be with us for 3 weeks. So now we have a relationship. We know their coaches. We know their scouts. We know their front men. And they know us. And every time you build a relationship and you keep adding to those, you have more conversations on great players that could yield, higher money in a market that has more to allocate towards players. So we do see it's a large synergistic program that we've entered into through all of our facility to build the very best team that could be on the field.
There's the owner, Deloy Hansen. Big picture, long-term plans for RSL and international friendlies. When we come back, Dunny with the Burt Brothers Breakdown, telling you what to watch for when the RC Willie pregame show wraps up. doing it better for 25 years.
Well, it's an international friendly for Real Salt Lake. Put on a show, showcase what this group's about, especially the attack-minded players and guys like Jordan Allen, Joao Plata, Burrito Martinez, and Yura Movsisian. Force them to chase. There's a good amount of possession in the first 20-30 minutes for Inter Milan. That's the reality on the backside of this. This is their first competitive preseason match. They flew this afternoon from Portland to Salt Lake City. That's a 2-hour flight. The heat, the altitude becomes a factor when you're talking about the fitness of Inter Milan.
Thanks for joining us here on the RC Willie pregame show. Coming up next, the anthems, the starting 11, and we'll get it away here at Rio Tinto Stadium. It's Inter Milan and RSL next on the RSL TV network. Welcome to Rio Tinto Stadium in Sandy, Utah. Tonight, RSL with a rare international exhibition against Inter Milan. Good evening, I'm David James along with Brian Dunsteth. And Dunny, a rare opportunity. Haven't seen many European clubs come here. It's a new philosophy for RSL.
Yeah, it really is. But as the brand goes, as does the opponents as well. Right there, Steven Jovetic just walking through the screen. This is a gigantic club in Serie A football, in international football. Inter Milan, led by Roberto Mancini. It's a fantastic opportunity not only for Real Salt Lake to kind of showcase their talent, measure themselves against high-level international competition, but also for this thirsty fan base to see firsthand what international football looks like here in Salt Lake City.
For RSL, obviously a congested schedule. They've been playing twice a week, not every week, but most weeks now since the end of the Copa break. How much do you expect Jeff Cassar to go with the starting 11 here tonight?
The reality for me is 25, 30 minutes right now in quote-unquote starting 11. That being said, even in that starting 11, I would expect Thomas Olave and John Sturzer, Jeff Attinella in particular, to see significant minutes in a match like this. And oh, by the way, Real Salt Lake has signed short-term deals with 5 or 6 Real Monarchs players, 9 Real Monarchs players. The biggest out of those names, Chris Schuler, is on the bench tonight for Real Salt Lake.
Chris Schuler, of course, trying to get healthy and get back with the first team, get back into the starting 11. When he was healthy, when he was on the field, he was a very big presence along that back line.
Yeah, a little Boca Juniors connection right there. Rodrigo Palacio and Burrito Martinez. Nice little conversation. Two Boca legends. Absolutely right there.
Soccer's a big world, but at the same time, Dunny, it's a small world as well. And we see that as two guys reconnect. We talk about RSL. What about for Inter Milan? This is the start of their season. They're over here in the U.S. for an extended preseason, the International Champions Cup.
Yeah.
What do you expect out of them tonight?
Well, I think for the group that did not participate in either Copa America or Euro 2016, this is an opportunity from day one to impress Roberto Mancini and look to build upon the fourth place finish in Serie A last season behind the likes of Juve, Napoli, and then Roma. The big move lately, Juan Jesus to Roma. Outside of that, no true big moves, but this is still a team that tonight doesn't have a Gary Medel, an Eder, Jason Murillo, and even Perisic and Ever Banega. That being said, when you look at this starting 11, you look at guys that you'd recognize immediately. Miranda, Felipe Melo, Kondogbia, Palacio, Mauro Icardi. Still some gigantic names in international football available here tonight.
Please remain standing, remove your hats, and welcome members of the Utah National Guard as they present our nation's colors. Please remain standing for the national anthem of Italy, followed by the national anthem of the United States.
There are the national anthems. The starting 11, the kickoff just underway, just a few minutes away from getting underway here at Rio Tinto Stadium. Stay with us. We'll get to the starting 11 and first kick next. Welcome back to Rio Tinto Stadium, RSL and Inter Milan. Starting lineups brought to you by LifeVantage. Find your personal and professional freedom by partnering with LifeVantage.
Jeff Cassar is going to make 5 changes coming off that 0-0 draw at home against New England Revolution. Attinella in goal, Wingard on the left-hand side, Sturzer alongside Beckerman. Jordan Allen pulls the strings, Plata on one side, Burrito on the other. Yuramov Sisian spearheads the attack for Roberto Mancini. Handanovic in goal, keep an eye on Kondogbia and Felipe Melo. Biabiani on one side, Erkin on the other. And then Mauro Icardi alongside Rodrigo Palacio.
RSL in their home whites tonight. Yuramov Sisian, Takahama Similave, and we are underway. Yura, nice little back heel. RSL, the rare European power coming here. Last time we saw a European power play RSL, it was Real Madrid back in the Rice-Eccles Stadium days. This ball comes into Burrito. And RSL earns their first corner of the match.
A good patience for Real Salt Lake. Again, this Inter Milan team flew in this afternoon from Portland. Keep an eye around the 20th minute mark. That's when the altitude and the heat should really start getting out of the legs of Roberto Mancini's men.
This corner kick brought to you by Mountain America Credit Union. Have 2 times the summer fun with double rewards from Mountain America's Visa credit card. Details at macu.com. Justin Glad able to get a touch on that. Can't put it on goal. Beckerman recycles. Plata. A little miscommunication there with Sturzer beyond the top of the 18. And a quick counter from Inter Milan. And Icardi's going to be unable to catch up with that. He'll let it go out for a goal kick for Jeff Attinella.
Right, get a good look at the number 11, Jonathan Biabiani, the 28-year-old Frenchman. Second stint back with Inter Milan. Speed, athleticism down that right-hand side. That final ball breaking down the counter-attacking ability for Inter in the final third. But between Icardi and Palacio, this team has a ton of speed up front.
Sturzer, a good ball to Plata. Jordan Allen, target there, a little beyond him.
Doing all right? Good.
How far do you want me to?
Palacio.
Until I get more people.
Back into the middle of the park to Mello.
Okay.
Well, D'Ambrosio will look to overlap down this right-hand side every single time Inter Milan is in possession.
Games that don't come to the other ones.
Yeah.
It's international.
Okay.
So this is what we watch for.
I
Erkin.
was just making sure it was okay that I was.
Service in, headed out by Olave. Sturzer.
A little bit of a different role, DJ, for Caner Erkin down this left-hand side. Turkish international, usually a starting left back. Tonight, asked to play a little bit higher again with guys like Gary Medel, Eder, Ever Banega, Perisic, all still in holiday following Copa America and Euro 2016. Erkin's going to be asked to play in a higher, wide left role. Now you see the skill set and the size from Kondogbia, former Sevilla and Monaco player, left-footed destroyer, but silky smooth in possession as well.
Workers' Compensation Efficiency Report, RSL's first ever meeting with this European club. We saw Everton here to face the MLS All-Stars at Rio Tinto Stadium. First time a European team has been here to face RSL. Movsisian. Plata with a thumbs up.
A second good time from Yura Movsisian, spreading apart the two center backs. Gets goal side of Miranda. Ranocchio is able to come down, cut the angle, and as Yura looks to ping that ball back to the top of the 18-yard box, unfortunately just over the head of Joao Plata.
Switch out right and a lot of space now. So Solidly comes forward. Erkin. Olave there to head it out. Beltran tried to find Yura.
That's good back pressing right there from Jordan Allen. Kondogbia is getting his head up. He's got space in front of him. And as Jordan Allen just applies the pressure from behind, it's that big switch over to the right-hand side. Biabiani and D'Ambrosio looking to just carve open Real Salt Lake in that final third by pushing numbers high down the right-hand side.
Chris Wingard able to clear. Yura checking back with Beckerman, out wide for Plata. Long run for Yura Movsisian. Miranda beating him to the ball.
That's a good read from Miranda, the big center back. Takes down the angle of Yura Movsisian. Calm, cool, collected, keeps possession, able to play out of the back.
Palacio. Erkin back to the middle of the park. Mello. Service in, and Olave able to get a touch and send it through and out. And Inter Milan will have their first corner of the night.
Yeah, an important little touch right there, but you see how quickly Inter Milan can switch the field. Kind of the destroyer role with Felipe Melo. Time and space, the Brazilian opens up, pings the ball to the right-hand side, and then quality service between the penalty spot, top of the six, forces Real Salt Lake for that slight little deflection out for a corner for Inter Milan.
Erkin. Headed out by Yura. Biabiani. Miranda, service in, Antonella out. Spills it, winger clears. Sturzer trying to clean it up. Brito battling for position. Mello winning that battle. Inter Milan wanted a quick restart there.
Well, he'll be in the midst of all of this. Felipe Melo, Fiorentina, Juve, Galatasaray back in Serie A to Inter Milan. Brazilian with so much experience, tough in the tackle, very cerebral with his positioning, simplistic with his passing. He's a connector, but he's also the type of player that DJ will absolutely get stuck in when the opportunity presents itself. Second time he's been dumped in the midfield by an RSL player.
Brita, Europe, Beckerman forming a three-man wall. Jeff Attinella lining them up. Attinella watches that go wide. Warm night, not a lot of wind here at Rio Tinto Stadium. Seen a series of very windy games. It's been a factor, but not so much, at least not in the early going tonight. American flag at the end of the field, hanging limp, although we see one corner flag off to Jeff Attinella's left. His whipping around, so maybe a little bit of wind over there in that corner. Tony Beltran back to Justin Glad. Chris Winger, last little bit of sun left on the field, shielding his eyes there.
Well, tactically, when you look at Roberto Mancini's setup today, and I know it's the first game of preseason, it's the front two applies the first line of pressure between Icardi and Palacio. But if the ball's down the left-hand side for Chris Winger's feet, you're immediately going to see Biabiani step up and press, so it becomes a front three. There's Mancini. So much experience, so much success as a player. Second stint with Inter Milan with a Man City project kind of sprung in the middle. He's back, and it'll be interesting to see how this club capitalizes on the $300 million investment by the Chinese consortium within the last 12 months and what that means for the future of Inter Milan. Expectations and the conversation, Yaya Toure leaving Manchester City to rejoin Roberto Mancini. He'd be the perfect fit at Inter Milan. What about Mario Balotelli as well? There's been links to João Mario, the Portuguese international that played such a starring role at Euro 2016, and between Candreva and Alex Witsel as well, the Belgium international. There's a lot of big names that are linked to Inter Milan that potentially could find themselves in this jersey within the next 30 days or so.
Real Salt Lake invites all children ages 5 to 14 to participate in our free youth soccer clinics this summer. The next clinic's on Monday, July 25th in Sugar House. There's a ball through to Jura, cleared out, and it'll be a corner for RSL. All the clinics will be conducted by experienced soccer coaches, include giveaways, food, and a special appearance from an RSL player. Don't miss out on the fun. Go to rsl.com/youth soccer clinics to sign up and for more information. Second corner of the evening for RSL. Jordan Allen and Jura inside the 6. Sturzer, Olave, and Glad at the top of the 18. Olave goes up, can't get to that. Inter Milan able to clear, and Tony Beltran will reset. Erkin. Out wide for Palacio. Palacio defended by Justin Glad. Mello. And Antonella to the post, a diving save.
I think at first it might have fooled Jeff Attinella for a quick second as Kyle Beckerman got his foot up on the deflection of Felipe Melo's shot.
Good job by Attinella to find Plata. Ahead to Jura. Plata using his speed to get back on the ball, trying to connect with Jura now. Lays it off to Burrito. Burrito expecting a run out of Jordan Allen, didn't get it.
Well, one thing to keep in mind, Yura Movsisyan scored against Italy in Italy with Armenia. You take another look at the deflected shot. Kyle Beckerman, as Atanella is able to go down to the left-hand side. Movsisyan showing time and time again he can get in between the two center backs, Ranocchia and Miranda.
Sturts of the foul there, going up and over Erkin. Tony Beltran, rather. That man bun fools me. Palacio having to pull off that run there. He was in offside position and knew it.
Something to keep in mind for Inter Milan and Real Salt Lake. There's probably a capped number of minutes that you're going to see for both of these sets of players on the field right now. For Real Salt Lake, probably no 20-25 minutes into the match. You're going to see a majority of the starting 11 come off the field because of Friday night at home against the San Jose Earthquakes. On the other side for Inter Milan, this first 45 minutes is going to be interesting to see how long Roberto Mancini goes with this group of players. And if he does go through the first half, those wholesale changes, what do they look like in the second 45?
How does 25 minutes, he played in the league for a decade, as here's Burrito with a little bit of space, trying to find Jordan Allen, Yura instead. Burrito back on the ball, into space. Plata. Plata's shot blocked. How does 25 minutes here compare to a training session, as fans wonder? They know there's some level of workout, there's some level of training today. How does this compare as they prepare and look forward to San Jose on Friday?
Yeah, as Jeff Cassar told me in the pregame show, this is usually their heavy load day, meaning that it's usually where the team is worked out pretty hard to try to raise fitness levels mid-season. So for this, listen, number one, you're playing against the badge of Inter Milan.
Over the top for Riccardi, long run between the two center backs.
Number two, it's an opportunity to kind of showcase yourself, showcase your club, showcase the city. And probably most importantly, and number three, is put in a decent performance for yourself, but also recognize it's about getting through unscathed. As I say that, man, my commentator's curse is phenomenal this season.
Really,
as
Jordan
Allen goes down underneath the challenge of the Brazilian Miranda, former Atletico Madrid center back.
How do you do that? What's your secret? Because that, as timely goes, that was just spot on.
It is usually Twitter that dictates when I do this. Take another look as Miranda just comes through the plant foot of Jordan Allen. He's just walked over and apologized to the young attacking player for Real Salt Lake.
Beckerman. Quick counter now. Palacio. D'Ambrosio. And Olave able to reach out with that left foot.
Yeah, I think Icardi would have been offside even if that ball did get through.
Little flick by Burrito. Plata down the left side. Plata with Burrito on his left to Jordan Allen. Back to Plata. To Yura and headed out. Ansaldi was there. Cody Beltran. Beckerman whipping a ball in. Sturzer. Winger. Winger cuts it back. Winger shot. Jordan Allen rebound. Jordan Allen down.
Handanovic goes through this ball, but both hands coming down right through the back of Jordan Allen. Take another look, Chris Winger. Biambiani has no idea that Chris Winger's right foot and cuts inside. He laces this, and watch Biambiani as he recovers. Handanovic jumps up immediately, punches the ball, but comes through Jordan Allen as well inside the 18-yard box.
So RSL able to sustain a little possession, create some opportunities, be dangerous in the final third, and now they have their third corner here as we enter the 18th minute. Plata. Olave can't quite get to it. Jordan Allen, a little flick and a goal, and RSL strikes.
As this ball's whipped in, just keep an eye on Jordan Allen. He's onside as the last defender drops on Saldi. Great little individual recognition. He doesn't know much about it as Jordan Allen just turns it with the outside of his left foot. Handanovic is going to the right. The ball goes back across the grain and rolls harmlessly into the back of the net as RSL takes the 1-0 lead 18 minutes into the match.
Jordan Allen with 3 goals in MLS play this year. And now, Dunny, he can always say he scored against Inter Milan. You said earlier, put on a good performance. You're playing a famous badge. Show what you can do. And Jordan Allen puts one in the back of the net and gives RSL the early lead.
Again, it's the very first game of preseason for Inter Milan. The reality is that they have PSG, Estudiantes, Bayern Munich, Tottenham Hotspur, Borussia Mönchengladbach, and Glasgow Celtic before the start of the Serie A season. But listen, regardless, put in the back of your pocket that you've scored against Inter Milan. That's one for the family history books.
I was going to say, those are all facts that need to be ignored when you're telling your grandkids 50 years down the line.
Trust me, you're talking to a guy who lives off 1 goal in 1 tournament, still to this day.
Ball over the top for Winger. Long run for Chris Winger and can't quite get there. Miranda beating him to the ball.
Well, DJ, I was saying it, right around the 20th minute mark is where you would probably see Inter Milan's legs start to get a little bit heavy. A 2-hour flight from Portland this afternoon. Now the heat and the altitude here at Rio Tinto Stadium. Not easy to deal with in the early stages of preseason preparation. It's been a good matchup. Argentine against Argentine. Ansaldi coming over to Inter Milan from Zenit St. Petersburg. He's done well. 1v1 matchups with Burrito Martinez so far in this match.
For RSL away games, follow the action right here on your RSL Network affiliate. Or if you're in Salt Lake City, watch every week at our Budweiser Pub Partner locations all over the valley. For a list of new locations, including family-friendly ones, visit rsl.com. Thomas Olave once again there as the service comes in from Biabiani. Haven't seen a lot of Thomas Olave. Saw him earlier in the year. Justin Glad got an opportunity though and has done a good job of locking down a spot in the starting 11. Olave, the third center back, getting a chance to put in some minutes tonight. And Icardi heading that one well over the bar. Jeff Attinella in goal. Nick Raimondo the night off with San Jose looming Friday night here at Rio Tinto Stadium. Good game with the Earthquakes trying to put themselves in the middle of a crazy playoff race in the Western Conference. Jeff Cassar with 6 potential substitutes up, warming up just off to the left of the bench. And you said somewhere around 20, 30 minutes Brito battling, unable to work his way out of that area. Ranocchia. Over the top, flag stays down. Jeff Attinella. Midway through the first half, have you liked RSL here in the first portion of this first half?
I think they've done okay. I mean, listen, the reality is you're going up against a team that's in preseason, that's trying to impress their manager, trying to settle down and solidify.
Palacio, D'Ambrosio, Justin Glad heads it out. Biabiani.
I think what I'm most impressed about from Inter Milan is just the speed in which they close down passing lanes.
Biabiani again, service in. Jeff Attinella out to the 6 to control it.
You know, if you're a fan of tactics, watch the recovery of Inter Milan in these blue jerseys and how they get themselves back into kind of a defensive posture immediately once they turn that ball over. A lot of times it's just Felipe Melo, the big number 5, who drops a little bit deeper, splits the two center backs, then you see immediate pressure on the ball. Kondogbia, the way the number 7 hunts for the ball. So much freedom in the movement. But this has always been kind of the telltale card of Roberto Mancini. Tactics defensively first, and then allowing the expressive freedom on the offensive side of things.
Melo trying to spring Palacio there, and it was Olave again. Beckerman down to the ground, committing the foul. Bear hugging Melo.
I think the other thing offensively to keep an eye on for Inter Milan is just their individual technique with the ball at their feet and how quickly their decision making is under pressure. It's one thing to watch kind of the elite teams in Major League Soccer, but you know, even with the mistakes that are being made tonight, you can see the class with the ball at their feet that Inter Milan possesses.
Palacio out wide. Biabiani sends it in, trying to connect with Icardi. Justin Glad cuts it out, gives up the throw-in. Sturzer reads that well. Unable to clear though, and Inter Milan will reset here. Melo, one time from distance up into the crowd.
So much history, so much experience with Felipe Melo. And again, when you're looking at this starting 11, you got to also think about a couple of additions. And for me, you're looking at Jason Murillo, the Colombian international. You're looking at Gary Medel, the Chilean captain, who won Copa America. Even Perisic, the Croatian wide player, who kind of dyed the Croatian flag into his hair. Eder, the Italian national team wide player. Ever Banega, the Argentine, who won 3 consecutive Europa League titles at Sevilla. You think this team's pretty good right now, man. I don't think Inter Milan right now is good enough to win Serie A. I think Juve still has that in their back pocket. Napoli, I think Roma will have something to say. But it'll be really, really fascinating, again, to repeat myself, how the money that's being injected into Inter Milan right now from the Chinese consortium plays into the favor of Roberto Mancini, and can they add a couple incredibly experienced players that still have years left in their legs?
They had the 5 straight titles, then the down times, started to rebuild, as you mentioned, back to Europa League, because this year they play their way back into Champions League.
Man, I just look
still
at,
difficult given the top of the league.
The thing about Serie A, it's the top 3 teams. And so you look at Juve, you look at Napoli, you look at Roma. Those are 3 incredibly consistent teams throughout the course of the season. By the way, you throw Fiorentina, you throw Lazio, you throw AC Milan into the conversation as well.
Melo with the foul there on Jordan Allen. Take another look here on the America First replay.
destroyer. Absolute destroyer, Felipe Melo.
Get your Pioneer weekend off to a good start with an RSL home game against San Jose. Kickoff set for 9 p.m. And the match is presented by Life Vantage. For tickets, visit rsl.com or call 844-REAL-TICKS.
You talked about those 6 subs getting up, getting ready to come in. Jeff Cassar is going to go to the bench in a few minutes here. It's going to be Boyd Aquanu, Fanny Cavita, Danny Acosta, Alex Sunley, Omar Holness, Ricardo Velasco, and Olmes Garcia. I'd say right around the 30th minute mark is where you're going to see these substitutions start to happen. No players up on the bench, though, for Inter Milan. Jeff Cassar was talking about, for the club itself, it's a great opportunity to kind of showcase where the club is at. Well, I think more importantly tonight, it's not about these players on the field right now. I think more importantly, it's about the younger players getting their opportunity. And oh, by the way, Chris Schuler is available again tonight for the very first time in over almost 2 years, year and a half. So it's a great opportunity for some of these kids that have been fighting for roster spots, getting on the 18-man game day roster to kind of showcase what their level looks like right now against incredible competition.
Yura coming back to win the ball. Plata, long run. He's not going to be able to get to that. But for these young players, there are roster spots where RSL could use a little more depth, use a little more help. The 2 starting center backs have done a great job of staying healthy, staying on the field. But at some point, a red card, a yellow card accumulation, a little knock could test their depth there. Devin Sandoval going out on loan opens a spot there for someone behind Yura. Olmes Garcia seems to have that role now. But there's some possibilities there.
Jordan Allen just walked over to the bench and indicated he needs to be substituted off the field. It's not a good look for Real Salt Lake.
Jordan has suffered a couple of hard fouls here. Also had the game's only goal in the 18th minute. Flag is up, Palacio offside.
I think we're going to get another opportunity to see Omar Holness kind of in that playmaker role again tonight, as we did on the road in Vancouver. Take another look as the ball's played up and in, and looks like Palacio just had the wrong side of the shoulder of the last defender in Jamison Olave.
This portion of the match brought to you by America First Credit Union. Utah's #1 credit union, America First Credit Union, where members come first. Beltran, Beckerman, Burrito, Movsisian, Plata, and Glad, all done for the night. Acosta comes on for Justin Glad, homegrown. Omar Holness, seen him get 3 starts here recently. He's on the ball right now. 3 starts in MLS play. Probably get an hour or so here tonight. Holness down the right side. Long run for Olmes Garcia. That'll be a throw in for RSL. Biabiani down the right side for Inter Milan. Fanny Kavita out to close him out. Jordan Allen able to clear whatever he had to say on the bench. Didn't get him out of the match. He remains in here after 6 substitutions by Jeff Cassar here at the half-hour mark.
Yeah, you just wondered then maybe Jordan Allen was walking over and saying that somebody else needed to be substituted off. But the adjustments are Olmis Garcia will be the point striker. Ricardo Velasco over on the left. Omar Holness will pull the strings. Jordan Allen is now wide right. Danilo Acosta comes in central.
McCarty, shot is saved by Jeff Antonella.
Fanny Kavita will pair up alongside Jamison Olave, and then Boyd Aquanu will be right back for Tony Beltran.
Holness out wide for Velasco.
I'm a big fan of what I've seen so far from Omar Holness. Really, really excited to see his development. It was a bit of a surprise to see him kind of in that hobby role a couple weeks ago, but very, very impressed over the course of the 90 minutes with what he brought to the table, and very quickly has already shown that he has the technical ability to do things while completely different from Javier Morales, still be a connector and a final ball type of passer.
Acosta the foul. Moving towards the 34th minute. RSL with the early lead on Inter Milan on Jordan Allen's goal. In the 18th minute, the little flick just inside the 6-yard box. If you weren't here, we'll have it for you at halftime with stats, highlights, and halftime interviews as well. Erkin, service in. Olave heads it back out. Erkin collects. Omar Holness able to win the ball. Holness, it's 2v4. Olmis Garcia, back to Holness. Unable to settle it. Looked like he might have stepped on the ball there and goes down just to the 18.
Look at that smile.
Yeah.
Look at that smile.
That wasn't what he dreamed of doing against Inter Milan.
Such a great personality. I like the ball too from Olmis Garcia. Gets it back across, and unfortunately for Omar Holness, as he put his weight on the ball, just kind of up and over, down inside the 18-yard box.
Big switch in behind winger. Flag stays down. Biabiani able to keep it in play. Winger blocks the service in. And that'll be a throw in for Inter Milan. Or are they going to give him the corner? It looks like it'll be a corner here.
Well, for Chris Wingert, right now he's kind of looking across this back line defensively, and the question for me is, who's the verbal leader right now? Fanny Kavita, Boyd Aquanu, or Jamison Olave? Everyone would think Jamison Olave, but someone has to be communicating across that back four.
Olmis Garcia able to head that ball, long run, and he goes down, and there's an awkward collision.
Oh, he got around Kinnear Erkin, and Ranocchia very fortunate that he got his feet out of the ground. He wasn't planted. Watch the way Olmis Garcia's momentum gets underneath, kind of loses his footing right there. Feet get caught up, and Ranocchia just jumps out at the last second.
Jeff Antonella out, and he's able to cover that up. Good ball sent in by Palacio.
Well, it's a fantastic ball from Palacio. Icardi gets goal side, and that is a great take from Jeff Antonella. Watch how quickly Antonella reacts, gets in front, all body, and then the momentum of Icardi goes up and over, launches himself right to the top of the 6-yard box. Perfectly weighted ball, proactive coming off his line from Antonella.
That's just great goalkeeping right there from RSL's goalkeeper. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Mauro Icardi. 23 years of age, former Barcelona youth, Argentine, 6 years old, moved from Rosario to Spain. His wife is his agent. There's been links to Arsenal, to West Ham. 44 million is what the number's been placed on his head. A lot of reports from Inter Milan saying he is unsellable at this point in his career. But with the money being injected into the club, you just wonder, if it's not going to be spent right now, what does the future look like for Mauro Icardi? Already the captain, 47 goals in just 88 appearances in Serie A.
Okwanu able to win that ball versus Erkin. Tugged down. And you talk about, as important as this is for the starting 11 to look good, guys like Boyd Okwanu, how are they going to perform in this situation with the coaches sitting right there looking at them?
Well, the reality is that every single player in an Inter Milan uniform has been an international, is either an international or has been an international at some level for their country. And the experience of these group of players is phenomenally high. So just stepping on the field against them and understanding and trying to figure out what the tendencies, the strengths, the weaknesses, and how do you implement your own style, your own game, collectively and individually. It turns out to be a great experience. I remember being 20 years old and first couple years in the league with the New England Revolution and playing a Benfica or an Ajax or a Gremio. It sticks with you in the back of your mind forever. It's one of those special moments in your career.
You think the wow factor for a player is higher or lower now that so many games are on TV, so many games are streamed on the web, and you can be so familiar? I mean, you end up calling a lot of these games as Jeff Antonella comes to the post to make another save. You end up calling a lot of these Europa League games, and they're available. And so guys, and you can tell by watching guys' Twitter feeds, they're going to training, they're going home, and they're watching these games. You can see on Twitter they're reacting to them as you watch them.
Well, I think the biggest issue in the United States is flat out the competition of other sports. But you have to be a student of the game. You just can't go to training and then lock up shop, go home, and forget about it. You've got to figure out ways to mentally, physically make yourself better every single day. And what I will say, regardless of the name on the back of the jersey, it's the crest on the front of the jersey that should be a motivating factor for each one of these players, not only in the moment, but in the future. It's the same thing we talk about for CONCACAF Champions League, for all of these young kids in Central America that want to showcase themselves on a different level. You know, day in, day out, you get opportunities, but when you have an opportunity like this, with that man's experience sitting on the bench for Inter Milan, the chances of an RSL player going to Inter Milan, 0.01%. But maybe somewhere down the line, as the growth of this league continues, the organization, the infrastructure, the academy system, maybe one day we could see more and more American players with opportunities. But it's chances like this, not just on the field, but for the kids inside the stadium also, to recognize that there could be a possibility to represent such an iconic club like this.
Olave and Icardi battling for the ball. Olave sends it out, and it'll be a corner for Inter Milan.
He does everything right, Jameson Olave. Wasn't sure about the positioning of Icardi, and then just kind of loose pass out for a corner kick opportunity.
Erkin. Shot and in. Jeff Antonella. Furious palms up. The ball nearly cleared off the line, but instead up into the top of the net.
Well, D'Ambrosio is wide open, and you've got 5 white jerseys stood still at the top of the 6-yard box. And it's a 2v1 situation that's just floated from Kinnear Erkin. And how in the world is D'Ambrosio this wide open? He's got all the time in the world, but
Still the technique. As he uncorks the hips, watch how quickly he resets his feet, turns his body around, and gets that much power on the ball. That is shocking defensively for Real Salt Lake. Criminal defending. Just absolutely cannot happen for RSL defensively.
Ricardo Velasco there on the line, unable to clear that, got a foot on it. D'Ambrosio levels this at 1-1.
There's nothing more frustrating defensively than conceding a goal like that. Not just for the players on the field, but for the coaching staff as well. At a bare minimum, if you're not sure about who's responsible for the mark, just get arm's length distance between a guy and the blue jersey. That's the bare minimum defensively for Real Salt Lake.
Jordan Allen in the 18th minute for RSL. Now D'Ambrosio leveling this at 1-1. Flag is up. Biabiani, long run offside, marked by Chris Wingard there. So as we move towards halftime, anticipate Jeff Cassar's message to the club and especially these young guys at the half. Here's Biabiani, and Winger clears it.
I think the message to the kids is go out, express yourself, have fun, but at the same time, defensively keep your shape. I think what we will see is a drastic difference in the quality of play from Inter Milan. When they go to their bench, when they go quote-unquote to the second string of players that are available on this 23-man travel roster for Roberto Mancini. Ever Banega has reported, but he is still in Milan on the backside of Copa America. And again, they're going to have 4, 5, 6 additions on the East Coast when the team heads over there to play Estudiantes and Bayern Munich in a couple weeks. I mean, I think the baseline of Jeff Cassar's conversation is just going to be, let's do the little things as best as we can.
And there's the whistle. We have reached the half. Level at 1. 18th minute, Jordan Allen striking first for RSL, and then off the corner, D'Ambrosio. Leveling us at 1-1 at the half. Coming up, we'll have interviews, statistics, first half highlights. They're all on the way here at Rio Tinto Stadium as RSL hosts Inter Milan 1-1 at the half. Stay with us. Halftime show's coming up next. 1 at the half with Inter Milan. We're joined now at the half by John Sturzer. Give us your impression of the first 45 here. Exhibition, and yet you want to perform well. You know this is one of the legendary European clubs. How's the first 45 gone?
I think it's gone really well. I mean, there are obviously a lot of really good players out there. We're just enjoying the moment.
Hey, Sturz, there's going to be wholesale changes. You've already seen them on your end. We expect them on their end as well. But how do you guys kind of find that balance in the midfield? You're talking about Felipe Melo, Kondogbia, guys that can eat up ground yet at the same time very simplistic with their passing and possession.
Yeah, they're great players, and you would have asked me when I was a little kid if I ever get a chance to play against Inter. I told you you're crazy, but to be able to step on the field with those guys is pretty cool, and I'm just trying to enjoy the moment.
Yeah, we can tell by that big smile on your face, my man. Second half, what do you guys need to do well to kind of showcase yourselves?
I think it's really important when we get the ball to try to keep it for a little bit, because we know once we give it back that they're going to keep it, and that's just going to tire us out. So I think when we have opportunities to keep the ball, keep it moving, and simplify our passes, and I think that should help us out in the long run.
John, thanks for joining us here at the half.
Hey, no problem.
Thanks, my man.
RSL midfielder John Sturzer joining us here with RSL and Inter Milan even at 1. Tonight's international friendly between RSL and Inter Milan is brought to you by Utah's #1 credit union, America First Credit Union, where members come first. RSL and Inter Milan is brought to you by LifeVantage, helping people achieve health, wealth, and personal freedom. RSL and Inter Milan are level at 1 at the half. Let's take a look at the first half highlights. Show you how we got here.
Well, for Real Salt Lake, starting off well at home and showcasing against one of the world's elite clubs. Started out early. Chris Winger finds himself uncontested with a little chop back. Good save from Handanovic. Just throws that 6'5" frame into the right-hand side of Jordan Allen. Joao Plata with the in-swinging corner from the far side. Deflection on the inside, comes off Kondogbia, right back into the left foot of Jordan Allen. Right place, right time. He's able just to curl it back with the outside of that left to make it 1-0. Ball played in over the top, and Icardi, great little cut right into the hands of Jeff Actinella. But you would feel the momentum for Inter Milan starting to heat up, and then just absolutely horrific marking as D'Ambrosio is completely unmarked off the corner from Kinnear Erkin. Unlaces one as he uncorks the hips, far post. Absolutely nothing Velasco can do about it, and we're all level after the first 45 minutes.
Inter Milan with the advantage in shots, 7-3. The advantage in shots on goal, 4-2. 3 corners apiece. And RSL and Inter Milan level at 1 at the half. The second 45 minutes are coming up. Stay with us. Helping people achieve health, wealth, and personal freedom. By Western Governors University, apply for a WGU Real Salt Lake Scholarship. Good for a full year's tuition. Multiple scholarships will be awarded. Visit wgu.edu/RSL for more information. And by Mountain America's Visa Rewards credit card featuring double points through July 31st. Details at macu.com. Attention soccer moms and dads, the Real Salt Lake summer camps are back. RSL camps run through August and are held all over the state of Utah. Visit rslcamps.com to register your soccer star today. RSL camps are presented by thermwise.com. If you can serve, you can save. Second half about to get underway here at Rio Tinto Stadium. We expect some more substitutes. International exhibition, of course, in the friendly. It's what you expect. For Inter Milan, this is the start of their preseason. Roberto Mancini's body language tonight suggests it's the start of preseason. Be a little different later this year, a little more intensity. And for RSL, a chance to see some younger players. Starting 11, largely the first choice 11, not completely. Javier Morales, Nick Raimondo, some of the guys who are not in the starting 11, but Plata, Burrito, and Movsisian. We're all in the starting 11. see the Italian legend talking to his team. 25 trophies, 13 as manager, 12 as a player. As a player, 36 caps, Italian international.
Yeah, looks like Jovetic, Bessa, Nagatomo, and Zonta all getting set to come in to start this second 45 minutes for Roberto Mancini.
A lot of questions, and we'll have some time to explore them in the second half. How good is MLS? How does it compare? I mean, I think we know the top 4, maybe in top 6 to 8 leagues. Is MLS 10, 15, 20? And then you see a player like Nagatomo, and we realize soccer in Asia is also improving by leaps and bounds. Where does it stack up? How many truly elite players are being produced in that part of the world? We're starting to see a few more guys from Asia playing in MLS. And obviously, there's J-League opportunities also.
Well, I'm trying to figure out where that question starts and ends.
Where it's a big question. It's Europe and South America.
If you're comparing Major League Soccer to Serie A, at best, you're going to say an MLS team is probably somewhere between 10th and 14th place. That's
one of the better MLS teams, because when you start talking about leagues, there's obviously a wide range of quality inside.
You're just saying year to year in Major League Soccer, there's so much change. I mean, you look at the Portland Timbers and Columbus Crew, who are MLS Cup finalists, and Portland just got on the right side of the playoff line. Columbus, if I'm not mistaken right now, is second to last in the East. There's just, it's such a close season every single year, and every single team changes. The biggest difference between teams isn't just the talent, it's the salary that's associated with the talent.
So Jovetic looks like he'll go up top for Icardi, Dunny, as we try to figure out the substitutions and the look we're going to see from Inter Milan here in the second half.
Well, you're going to see the changes. Jovetic, Bessa, Nagatomo, Zonta, all coming on. Great opportunity as you kind of see the adjustments. Nagatomo's going to go over to the left-hand side. Keep an eye on him as he's an overlapping outside left back with an incredible amount of speed and athleticism.
RSL, a strong start to this match, a strong first half hour for the starting 11. Now a youthful group out there.
Well, and the tactics has changed as well. That man, Bessa, has come in a little bit more centralized. At times, it's going to look like a 4-3-3 with Zonta playing parallel to Felipe Melo and Kondogbia. Up top, you'll have that man, Palacio. Zonta playing underneath with Jovetic, kind of playing the point striker, the number 10. Former Manchester City product, following Roberto Mancini to Inter Milan. Andrew Brody with the foul. Kondogbia goes down. It looks like the nutmeg pops in first, and then as Kondogbia, he wants that left foot, little Cruyff as he cuts it back. Brody just clips the legs, takes him down.
Palacio. Good ball in. Jovetic down at the spot. Looked up to see if he'd get the call, and a little conversation there, but it'll be a goal kick for Antonella.
Well, Andrew Brody coming on, and Jordan Allen had come over and had the conversation with the bench right near the 30th minute marker. So came off, headed straight to the trainer's room. Now Brody gets his opportunity.
Brody out of the RSL Academy in Arizona, 3 years at the University of Louisville. Goal in 16 appearances for the Monarchs. Sturzer on the ball there, got the start. Might see him go till about the hour mark here. Look at one of the other starters still in. Acosta ahead to Olmes Garcia. Garcia back to Acosta. Acosta, 2 runners into the 18. Olmes calling for the ball. Acosta the shot.
It's a good build-up down the left-hand side. Velasco, as he gets isolated 1v1. Good ping-down ball from Olmes Garcia. The recovery run from Ansaldi. Velasco, confidence to run at the defender. Gets cut inside. It was always going to be a tough angle to beat the goalkeeper. But he does well to keep his shot on frame. Good little build-up there from Real Salt Lake.
Sturzer suffering that foul there. Inter Milan in the Europa League this year, plus of course domestic play, plus the domestic cup. How deep will their roster go to handle that kind of schedule?
Well, they traveled 23, but between Santon trying to figure out what's going to happen with him, the outside left back. You've got Dodo, Gary Medel, Adair, Jason Murillo, Perisic, Banega, Juan Jesus. His move to Roma is done and dusted. I still think Inter Milan probably adds 1 or 2 more starting caliber pieces. But the reality is, in Serie A, the quality of players on a roster, the amount of money that they're getting paid, you're looking at 18, 19 deep, start to bottom for what I would say the top 8, 9 teams in Serie A. Now, once you get into kind of the Champions League conversation, when you're talking about Juve, you're talking about Napoli, you're talking about Roma, the depth is a little bit deeper right there. But listen, this is a big season for Inter Milan. 2 years ago, a really rough stretch. Didn't qualify for either Europa or Champions League. Last year, a 4th place finish. They're going to look to build upon that, plus the addition of the Chinese consortium money. It'll be interesting again to see how they spend it and how these games, after playing PSG, Estudiantes, Bayern Munich, Spurs, Mönchengladbach, and ending with Glasgow Celtic, how much changes, who's in, who's out for Roberto Mancini's group of players.
Omar Holness trying to play the big switch there to Ricardo Velasco, who can't quite get on the end of that. Deep roster for RSL tonight. In addition to the regular roster, you see some of the subs warming up. They brought in 8 Monarchs players for this exhibition with Inter Milan. Long run here. Service in. Long run by Jovetic, unable to get on the end of that. Antonella out, quickly finding Omar Holness. We saw in the first half, Jeff able to start a couple of quick counterattacks with his distribution. Winger, Holness, Sturzer, Velasquez for Olmes Garcia. unable to connect. Sturzer. Audentis Garcia on his left. Into the area, shot, a big save. Audentis just beyond the 18, he goes down. Andrew Brody with the long run, the shot. But unable to find the back of the net. We have our first card of the night. Fanny Kavita into the book here in the 54th minute. Flag is up. Jovetic at the top of the 18, but well offside. Let's take another look at that second chance.
Yeah, John Sturzer fighting for position down this left-hand side. Ansaldi keeps the ball in play. Sturzer gets his head up, and as he looks for just the slotted ball to Brody, it's a big save by the goalkeeper. Coming off his line quickly, cutting down the angle immediately.
Chris Winger. Little flick. Velasco felt the tug, turns and pleads his case, but he's not going to get that call.
Well, he's very fortunate, Ranocchia, that D'Ambrosio had dropped in and covered goal side. Great little ingenuity right there from Ricardo Velasco. Flicked that ball up into space behind the big center back. And the recovery run from D'Ambrosio able to just retain possession for Inter Milan.
Kondogbia fouled there. Game getting a little more physical here in the second half, Dunny. Seen our first card, a few more fouls. Saw a couple of hard fouls in the first 45.
Yeah, I would imagine that Kondogbia and Felipe Melo, two players that'll start putting in a little bit more of the hard tackles as the legs start to go here at altitude.
And Saldi in the service all the way through the 18 and out the other side. Kondogbia back into the area, headed out by Chris Winger. Omar Audentis. Audentis over the top. Audentis Garcia showing off the speed. One touch shot, far post and wide and out.
Audentis Garcia pinning the ears back. D'Ambrosio closes down the angle. Always going to be difficult to execute for the less preferred left foot, but lately we've been starting to see glimpses of Audentis Garcia of old as he's working his way back into that 18-man game day roster after suffering a series of injuries over the past couple of seasons.
This portion of the match is sponsored by Utah's #1 credit union, America First Credit Union, where members come first.
Ricardo Velasco, second player to be booked by the referee, goes in the book 57th minute. Palacio, as he comes across, yikes. Leaves a boot up, absolutely. Yellow card.
Palacio thinking he got clipped there.
Well, something happened to Addison Olave. He's just pinged that ball over the sideline. Can't really tell what happened, but I think when the collision came together with Rodrigo Palacio, I think something might have come up into the eye, maybe a hand come up into the eye. As Olave wins the ball, he just knocks it out of bounds. And hold on tight, RSL fans. It may only be short term, but for the first time in a long, long time, we're going to see Chris Schuler in an RSL uniform on the field here at Rio Tinto Stadium. We're also seeing a change from Roberto Mancini. Juan Pablo Carrizo comes in and replaces Samir Handanovic in goal. Listen to the ovation as Chris Schuler returns to Rio Tinto's field. First time in a long time as all the RSL hopeful are waiting for him to return to the full squad. Not just Real Monarchs, but the full squad for Real Salt Lake.
Ahmed Zalavne's night is done here, 59th minute. And for Schuler, there's just been so many injuries over the years, Dunny.
First appearance since July 15th. Of 2015 for Chris Schuler.
And not just the 2015 and 16 seasons that have been impacted by injuries. The left foot in 2012, his right foot in 2013. It's really been an ongoing saga with injuries, and his health shot from distance up into the crowd there. Jovetic taking his first shot of the evening. And so for Chris Schuler, it's been a long road, a lot of ups, a lot of downs. Chris Wingert. Long ball for Olmes Garcia. Carrizo, the keeper, is out. Now retreating back into goal. Olmes Garcia waiting for some support. Velasco back to Winger. Sturzer. Garcia. Garcia, big switch. Guanu. Velasco settles for Holness. Holness, shot! And Carrizo down to make the save.
I have been very, very impressed with what I've seen from Olmes Garcia tonight. He is recognizing spaces in the field to explore, to capitalize, and his speed right now is just full tilt against Inter Milan's two center backs. Take another look at the build-up. Velasco recognizing that Omar Holness is there for the layoff. Fights through the on-running pressure of two defenders for Inter Milan. Unfortunately, just doesn't catch it cleanly.
Velasco trying to split the center backs for Garcia. Bessa playing the ball out wide. Bessa out wide to get it back. The crowd applauding Boyd Ogwanu over there as he battles Bessa along the far sideline.
We're about to see three changes for Jeff Cassar. Luke Mulholland, Damar Phillips, and Lalo Fernandez going to get an opportunity to showcase tonight. Jeff Attinella, Chris Winger, John Sturzer, all coming off for Real Salt Lake.
America First Credit Union substitutions. Lalo Fernandez, Real Monarchs goalkeeper. Has not made an MLS appearance yet. His father was a goalkeeper, played in Mexico in the first division. There's John Sturzer, put in an hour's worth of work tonight. Luke Mulholland in for Sturzer. Service in, and Damar Phillips marking Jovetic there, and he sends it just over Fernandez in the bar and out.
If you've been watching some of these friendlies over the past couple of summers, Stephen Jovetic might look familiar for a Man City fan as well. A couple of years ago, was in the United States with City. He and Iheanacho were the front runners for City at the time for Manuel Pellegrini, and Jovetic was so incredibly impressive during that summer tour in the United States. Things kind of went sideways with the competition at City, but he was a big pickup for Roberto Mancini at Inter Milan, and unfortunately for Jovetic, goal-scoring wise, hasn't consistently found the playing time or the back of the net as often as expected, but still an incredibly talented young striker, just 26 years of age for the Montenegro international.
For RSL away games, follow the action right here on your RSL Network affiliate. Or if you're in Salt Lake City, watch each week at our Budweiser Pub Partner locations all over the valley. For a list of new locations, including family-friendly ones, visit rsl.com. Just joining us here, all the scoring in the first half. Jordan Allen, just inside the 6-yard box, flicking in the game's first goal in the 18th minute. And then just before the half, D'Ambrosio on the corner, unmarked, equalizing with a rocket. Jeff Attinella had no chance to get to. 1-1 at the half, still 1-1 here, all level in the 65th minute. First time we've seen a European club come to play RSL here at Rio Tinto Stadium. Real Madrid at Rice-Eccles Stadium back in the day. And also Everton was here for an MLS All-Star game.
Everton was at Rice-Eccles. Boca Juniors was at Rice-Eccles. Everton, the only team to step foot at Rio Tinto Stadium for the MLS All-Star game. Neil Curry has come on and replaced Kondogbia alongside Felipe Melo for Roberto Mancini. We were wondering how long some of the big name players were going to play. Ranocchia, Felipe Melo right now, the two players looking at significant minutes tonight.
Mulholland will switch sides. DeMar Phillips. DeMar Phillips getting the ball caught up underneath his feet, giving it away. Good recovery run there by Brody to win the ball back for RSL. If you were with us on the pregame show, RSL owner Doy Hansen explained as the flag is up offside, explained that we'll see more of these international exhibitions now. Part of the new training facility and academy he's building in Harriman. And just as right now we see Inter Milan based in Oregon and flying in and out for this game, he expects some of the bigger European clubs to be based here in Utah and travel in and out to games in LA, the Bay Area, Seattle, Vancouver, wherever they're headed in the western half of the United States.
Well, we've seen back-to-back summers for the Montreal Impact. Last summer it was Chelsea. This time it's Real Madrid. Inter Milan based up at the University of Portland. It's kind of that mentality. If you build it, they will come. The great thing about Salt Lake City in terms of where the landscape is in the United States, it's almost kind of the perfect base, because if you put a team like Inter Milan here for, say, 2.5 weeks, want to play a game in Portland? That's a 2-hour flight. You want to go down to LA? That's an 1.5 hours. Want to go down to Dallas? That's 2 hours. Want to get to Chicago? We're talking 2.5, 3. Location-wise, it really is the perfect place. Then you talk about the heat and the altitude. In terms of a training facility, there's a huge, bright future here for what the plans are for Real Salt Lake and Doy Hansen.
Doy Hansen explained in the pregame show that that would be a chance for exhibitions, but also be a chance for training for academy players to watch a European power training. And you've been big on this, that as you see a foul, Omar Holmes. I think we're going to have another card, first of the night for Inter Milan. Third card of the game, but first for Inter. And you've been a big proponent of exposing players to the game, having them watch individuals, see, hey, what can I learn? What can I borrow? Tricks of the trade. What do these guys do that set them apart?
Well, and the reality with technology that comes along with that as well is you will continue to see teams sending clips to players' phones and the reality of how do your individual matchups look and getting them to you immediately. Listen, for young players, it's getting outside the comfort zone of the United States. It's going abroad. It's going to South America, getting games, putting yourself in uncomfortable environments to continue to grow, not only as a player, but as a person as well.
Angelo Hansen also explained that MLS will work with him going forward. Hopefully, the schedule really congested this year, made it difficult, although they're doing it here tonight. But hopefully, it'll fit into the schedule a little better, a little less awkwardly going forward. DeMar Phillips with the block there and conceding the corner.
Well, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I believe that should MLS teams want to showcase international friendlies like this, there should be a block of about a 2-week window where it doesn't fall into a Saturday to Friday window where potentially you can showcase your best players and you can get your full roster on the field for 90 minutes. We've seen it kind of time and time again. The biggest one for me is LA Galaxy against a Barcelona or Real Madrid or a Manchester United, where first half they can play a majority of their starters, second half they play their subs. The next thing you know, it's 6-7-8-0. I know it gets complicated because you're talking about Copa America, you're talking about Gold Cup, you're talking about Euros, you're talking about World Cup. All of those things
and for a lot
come into play.
And for a lot of the big market clubs in Major League Soccer, and let's face it, a lot of these big European clubs, this is a branding opportunity. They want to sell jerseys. They want to be in the bigger markets. But when you start giving big markets midweek games, it's really difficult. Try to get around on an LA freeway and get to a Galaxy game midweek.
Well, not only that, I think you start to find yourself in a really interesting conversation when it comes to, say, clubs like Serie A, who was probably the one league that was the slowest to catch up to the social media kind of window, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the different ways of really connecting with fan bases. Because for so long, it was such an iconic brand that I think you started to see a lot of different clubs taking gigantic steps forward, while Serie A would kind of ignored that realm.
Luke Mulholland, a timely step. RSL trying to counter. Omar Holness looks left, now back to Luke Mulholland. Mulholland out to the right side. Brody. Olmes Garcia, flag stays down. Garcia, Velasco. Trying to pick out that upper 90 into the crowd. Velasco showed well here.
He has, he really has. And while Real Salt Lake is capable to showcase some of this up-and-coming talent from Real Monarchs, the same goes for Roberto Mancini, as he's brought in Loris Zonta, the number 91. He's now brought in the number 93, Axel Mohamed Bakayoko. For all the big names that are missing for Inter Milan, that means a couple of the under-21s, quote-unquote reserves, the academy kids stepping through the system that they're developing from the ground up, get an opportunity to prove whether they can stay with the team or they'll be sent out on loan for another season.
Garcia. DeMar Phillips. Phillips. Shot from distance and up into the crowd. A little frustration there.
I'll tell you what, if DeMar had a right foot, kind of like Chris Winger, he had Bakayoko dipping inside, outside, and turned on top of his head. Just needed that right foot confidence to get that shot on frame.
Get your Pioneer weekend off to a good start with an RSL home game against San Jose. Kickoff is set for 9, and the match is presented by LifeVantage. For tickets, visit rsl.com or call 844-REAL-TICKS.
I think it becomes an interesting conversation, DJ, when you look at kind of the substitution patterns for both of these teams. You could say right now that Real Salt Lake is definitely holding their own against this group of players from Inter Milan. I don't think you can essentially make the same type of argument when it's the best 11 versus the best 11. But very, very impressed with what I've seen from these substitutes for Jeff Gasol.
Good build up here from Inter, and the ball whipped in. DeMar Phillips can't get to that. Settled back in front of the shot, just wide. Good ball in, Bakayoko, as that ball started to come out the far side, centered it right back. And Jovetic just couldn't keep it on, or excuse me, Palacio just couldn't keep it on frame.
Oh, it's service from the left-hand side, and as it gets his way all the way over, DeMar Phillips is cut inside. Bakayoko just pings the ball to Jovetic. He does not miss by much. He ends up hitting the towel and the water bottle from Lalo Fernandez just inches past the outside of that left post.
Jovetic with a good opportunity there. There haven't been very many for Inter Milan here in the second half since they equalized level this match just before halftime.
Yeah, I was talking about him earlier, just probably 10 minutes or so. A couple summers ago with Man City.
Jovetic. Lalo Fernandez out. Back to Jovetic. Little chip ball, post hits the post. And RSL able to clear.
Remember what I was just talking about with Jovetic?
He said he had shown well in previous summer tours.
Now picture what you just saw, him chipping that ball. Watch this as he pings that left post. It's a good ball in. Bakayoko, watch the touch. Just clips that ball. Now imagine him 2 summers ago with the Iheanacho. And what he's done at Man City. And those two just tore up the United States for Manuel Pellegrini and company.
Nagatomo, defended by Phillips. Palacio dropping deep. Palacio. In front, ball is loose.
That's a good ball played across from Palacio. It's an even better touch from Jovetic, and then Bakayoko ends up pushing it in the back of the net. But this ball crosses the end line. I don't know, man. I think the AR is a good 4 or 5 yards behind the play. I think Palacio has done well. Take another look. All ball. Man, that is close. Benefit of the doubt plays in favor of Real Salt Lake. Kevon Frater getting set to come in for Real Salt Lake.
Nagatomo. Flag is up. Jovetic offside. Lalo Fernandez. Long ball, almost Garcia. And the flag is up on Garcia. He's offside.
I think tonight, to be quite honest with you, DJ, is the first time in a long time we've been able to see the speed of Olmes Garcia. I can't remember a time in the last 2 years that I've seen him flying the way he is tonight. By the way, what a great day, what a great showing right there from Ricardo Velasco. Coming in around the 30th minute mark. I think he has been fantastic with the opportunity that has been presented to this young player. On comes Kevon Frater.
Another America First Credit Union substitution. And now Palacio's night is done.
Pinamonti, another young player through the academy system of Inter Milan, comes on and replaces the Boca Juniors legend, Rodrigo Palacio. I still think you should grow that awesome little rat tail. Look great on television.
Career advice from Dunny. Thank you, Dunny. You're the man.
You're welcome. Just looking out for you.
Are these free, or do you charge for this level of genius?
To be determined.
This portion of the match brought to you by America First Credit Union. America First Credit Union, where members come first. Garcia, the flick on. Rizzo out.
That's a good read right there from DeMar Phillips. Kevon Frater will be on this left-hand side. Omar will pull the strings. Brody on the far side. Holmes Garcia at the point of the attack for Real Salt Lake.
Heavy touch there. Chris Schuler able to clear the ball out to midfield for RSL.
Although Curry's still down behind the play, that 50-50 challenge with Luke Mulholland. Hard but fair challenge. Take another look as Mulholland, the ball's played out. And it goes through, ball, bottom of the studs, kind of catch him up. Right on the exposed shin.
Take a look at the goals and how we got to 1-1 here as we're into the 80th minute now. Both the goals in the first half. Jeff Cassar talking with Holmes Garcia. Omar Holness.
Well, it started off a corner. Joao Plata in-swinger from the far side. Took a deflection on the way in. Actually came off the number 7, Jeffrey Kondopia. Right place, right time. As Jordan Allen just redirects it past Handanovic, and then such a bad mistake defensively for Real Salt Lake. Corners, you just got to mark up 1v1 at worst. D'Ambrosio, got to give him full credit. Great job of kind of unhooking that left eye, keeping that shot down on frame with power and accuracy.
That second goal coming just a couple minutes before the half, and we remain level at 1 here in the 81st minute. Jeff Cassar cycling through the roster tonight. Pointed out today would normally be a fairly intense day training, and he's tried to get most of the guys who you're going to see Friday against San Jose Earthquakes, tried to get them about 30 minutes of action. For most of the bigger names, he came early, although he held a couple guys back. Keep a couple of veterans, a little poise here on the field. Late with some of the younger guys, Luke Mulholland coming on for the final half hour. We didn't see Nick Romano tonight. We didn't see Javier Morales tonight, but most everybody else got at least half an hour.
Yeah, Javi didn't even dress tonight. Well, now it's the 19-year-old Fabio Della Giovanni. Under 19 Italian international. He can come on and replace the injured Nocuri. 25-30 minute run out for Nocuri. As much as we talked about Real Salt Lake wanting to be unscathed coming through this friendly, same goes for Inter Milan and Roberto Mancini ahead of some big games and their preparations for Europa League and Serie A.
For RSL, it'll be a critical game Friday night against San Jose. The Earthquakes running 8th in the West, but They also know if they were able to get the full 3 points, they'd put themselves right back in the mix, and it'd basically be 5 teams battling for the last 3 playoff spots in the West, with most teams still having at least a dozen, maybe even more than that, games left in the regular season. Big game for RSL and San Jose Friday night here at Rio Tinto Stadium.
Yeah, and San Jose coming off one of the more freaky results in Major League Soccer. Down 2 men because of 2 red cards by the 54th minute, yet somehow beat Toronto FC at home 2-1.
Ball whipped in. This corner kick brought to you by Mountain America Credit Union. Have 2 times the summer fun with double rewards from Mountain America's Visa credit card. Details at MACU.com. Mar Phillips the throw in for RSL.
See, you look great with that. Little rat tail right there, you would look fantastic.
Audentis Garcia. And Carrizo under pressure will just clear it up into the crowd. Give RSL the throw in along the far side.
I can't get that look out of my head right now.
I'm just going to change the topic, go right back to the game. You're not helping.
Oh, man.
Even when it's about me, it's about you.
There's got to be someone on Twitter that can hook me up with a picture of David James with Rodrigo Palacios hairstyle.
You're begging now.
Please put that.
It either happens. It either happens or it doesn't. Don't
Someone
beg.
can do it.
Don't beg. Lalo Fernandez, well out beyond the 18 to clear that ball. Mar Phillips.
Yeah, it's important, just simplistic possession. It's all based off triangle passing for Real Salt Lake.
Almost a brilliant ball from Luke Mulholland there. A slight touch, but Brody the thumbs up. That was a good look, and a few groans from the crowd. They thought they had something there.
Yeah, and again, we're kind of seeing flip-flopped defensively. Ansaldi had come over to this near side. Now Nagatomo comes over as Della Giovanni is now as an outside left back for Inter Milan's back 4.
Talked about Audentis Garcia and his play tonight, how much you've liked it. A little build up here from Inter Milan. Ball coming out wide. A little flick, and then Luke Mulholland will clear. Audentis Garcia has had quite a few appearances, but usually very brief. I think it's a longer chunk of time that has helped him. Good counter here as the game really opening up. In the final 10 minutes, ball chipped in. Holness chests it down, and flag is out.
Well, they're going to call a foul on Kevon Frater, just barreling into the last defender inside the 6-yard box. To your question about Olmes, yeah, minutes matter. Take another look as he comes right through the back of Ranocchia. It's the right decision from the referee. The big thing for Olmes is to get minutes, to get consistent minutes. And it's not just the physicality part, it's the mental part as well.
Danny Kavita might have been beaten there, a little tug.
Yeah, it started with Pinamonte, and the referee recognized earlier.
Jovetic. Bessa. And Chris Schuler able to win the ball for RSL, trying to find Olmas Garcia down the left side. The ball comes all the way back to Schuler. Olmas with a good turn finds Luke Mulholland. Luke out wide to Brody. Academy product, University of Louisville. He's been dangerous a couple times tonight. Phillips wanting to get the ball on that preferred left foot. And when he does, he loses it. Frater, another foul. First chance to see some of these Monarch players. We rarely get the chance. Their schedule flip-flop from RSL when they're in town. RSL's usually out of town or on the road. I think we see how physical Frater can be. That's clear here. And as I say that, Frater commits another foul. He's not shying away from contact, that's for sure. Nakatomo. Right to Lalo Fernandez. Stoppage time is brought to you by Mountain American Credit Union's Visa Rewards credit card, featuring double points through July 31st. Details at MSU.com. Brody into the area. And instead of the shot, tries to drop the ball off back towards the top of the 18. Unable to connect with Okwanu. We're going to have 2 minutes of stoppage time brought to you by Mountain American Credit Union's Visa Rewards credit card. Double points through July 31st. Details at MSU.com. 2 minutes of time. Schuler unable to clear that ball. Slight touch. It'll go out, and it'll be a goal kick for Fernandez.
Yeah, you think there's any hesitation from Chris Schuler at this point in his recovery? Man, the way he just stepped in on Bakayoko, just dropping that 6'5" frame. It's been a good showing tonight. I think both sides are going to be happy with what they've gotten out of this 90 minutes. For Real Salt Lake, first 30 minutes, get the first team off the field. Everyone comes through unscathed. Let the young kids come out and showcase what they can do. For Roberto Mancini and Inter Milan, very first official match of the 2016-17 Serie A season as they prepare for Europa League as well. I think he'll be content with getting the first phase of base fitness underneath their belt for a very difficult season in Serie A.
Ball over the top, Schuler back. Jovetic! Backheel nutmeg Fernandez and scores. And in the 92nd and probably final minute, Inter Milan takes a 2-1 lead on a quality goal.
You remember what I was saying about Stevan Jovetic, 26-year-old Montenegro international. It's a ball up over the top. He brings it over well, and how many players in the world not only think about this, but can execute? I mean, listen, skill versus luck, you can have as much of an argument as you want, but that is just a filthy, filthy goal right there from Jovetic. Take another look. Sorry, Lalo. I love you to death. I apologize that that happened to you, but what a goal that was right there from that man, the number 10. Stevan Jovetic, what looks to be the game winner for Inter Milan.
Well, it's a minimum of 2 minutes of stoppage time. There's the final whistle. And Jovetic, at the death, gives Inter Milan the 2-1 win over RSL. Handshake Jeff Cassar will probably remember for a while. John Sturzer, right place, right time. Get the right jersey.
He won the jersey lottery.
He won the jersey lottery.
But we saw 3 fantastic chances created from Jovetic. One that he missed where he hit the water bottle and the towel just inches past the outside of the left post of Lalo Fernandez. One, the delicate chip that hit that far right post. And then the finish with the back heel from an acute 10 yards out through the legs of Lalo Fernandez.
Well, the crowd wanted to show, and they got one with a quality goal, the decisive goal in stoppage time to give Inter Milan the win. And they got the thrill early as RSL struck first. Jordan Allen putting them on the board. 2-1 the final here. The defensive play of the game is brought to you by Toyota. Toyota lets you go places. A young fan who couldn't quite make it through the night.
Well, as Sturzer plays the ball out to the left-hand side, Chris Winger gets his head up. Little chop on Biabiani. And good save from Handanovic, who then just lays out 6'5" frame to make sure Jordan Allen is contested for his redirection header back on frame.
Chris Schuler greeting the fans here. Going around the field at Rio Tinto Stadium, giving everybody in the front row a 5. Inter Milan, 2-1 victors. The Ford post-game show is coming up. Stay with us. Inter Milan defeats RSL 2-1, the final score, and we are joined now on the post-game show by the man who scored RSL's only goal tonight, Jordan Allen. Jordan, congratulations on the goal. Take us through the play. That's a memorable moment. You clearly enjoyed it. How did you see it develop?
Just a corner and knockdown. They were playing zonal, so I was just by myself in the box, and it came down to my foot, and just kind of a reaction flick. Luckily went in the goal.
Nice little skill check right there for you, Jordan. On a night like this, listen, the reality is they're in preseason. You guys know it's an iconic club like Inter Milan. It's great for the fans. What's the big takeaway over the course of 90 minutes for this opportunity?
I think the biggest thing was just to have a good time, enjoy the experience, and just to come out without any injuries I think is huge. Because this is obviously an awesome experience to have a club like this come, but for us, our main focus is MLS.
And, of course, you'll have to refocus for a game on Friday. San Jose, they have a chance to get back in the playoff picture here, so there's still a lot of matches to play, but because they're in the West and they have a chance to contend, does that put a little extra emphasis on this in your mind?
Yeah, of course. Anytime you play a team from the West, especially at home, it's imperative that you get results. We've been getting a lot of draws lately, and we need to put that right and start getting some wins, start climbing up the table, getting back to where we were.
Jordan, thanks for joining us here on the postgame show. Congratulations on the goal.
Thanks for having me.
Jordan Allen, in the 18th minute, the little flick, the goal. Inter Milan ends up winning 2-1. More on the postgame show. Jeff Cassar coming up. Highlights and stats on the way. Stay with us. Your weekend off to a good start with an RSL home game against the San Jose Earthquake. Kickoff is set for 9 o'clock. The match is presented by Live Vantage. For tickets, visit rsl.com or call 844-REAL-TIX. Let's take a look at the highlights as Inter Milan defeats RSL 2-1.
Well, for Real Salt Lake coming out and not just making a statement, but putting on a show for the fans was just as important as the opponent in Inter Milan, one of the iconic teams in Serie A football. Good job from Chris Winger. Early cuts inside, gets on the preferred right, and tests Handanovic. The initial save, reaction, the punch, leads to the corner as the ball's played in. Just great reaction from Jordan Allen. Right place, right time. Kondobia puts it back in front of his own goalkeeper. Handanovic goes to the right. Jordan Allen outside of the left foot. Didn't know much about it, but enough to redirect it into an empty net. For Inter Milan, they continue to push numbers forward between Icardi and Palacio. And for Icardi, as he gets it back to the preferred left foot, unfortunately doesn't catch much, keeps it on frame though, but just horrific decision-making on the individual marking off the corner. Kanir Erkin, the Turkish international, finds D'Ambrosio as he uncorks the hips. Ends up pushing it past the helpless Velasco, who had covered that near post. Nothing Antonelli could do. Ball whipped into the box, and as it comes back across Bakayoko into Jovetic, and just inches past the outside of that left post. He apologized. He would return the favor as the ball would come back to him. Watch this delicate little chip. Far post, dings it. So close, yet so far away, but he would not be touched on this one. Just stop it. Jovetic, as he brings this ball down, momentum takes him away, and unfortunate for Lalo Fernandez as it goes right through his legs as Inter Milan get the 2-1 win, 92nd.
2-1, you think Jeff Cassar saw what he wanted? We'll talk to him in a few minutes and hear from him.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I think both coaches probably got out of this what they wanted. It was an exercise for both. It was an opportunity for Real Salt Lake to showcase what the future looks like in bringing international teams into the Salt Lake Valley area. For Jeff Cassar, the starting 11, it's about getting through, give them a run out, raise the temperature a little bit, replicate a Tuesday practice. On the other hand, for the young players, especially some of these Monarchs players, very, very impressed with what I saw. With regards to one particular player, I really, really liked what I saw from Omis Garcia. A guy who has not had the best of times the last 2 seasons, took the opportunity with both hands, and I think is slowly but surely kind of clawing his way back into kind of the trust zone with Jeff Cassar heading forward in this year.
Another decent performance also from Omar Holness, didn't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
After seeing 3 starts,
yeah,
seeing him get out
I thought
tonight?
was really good too as well. A bright future. Omar Holness, I thought, did really well connecting the lines. It was good to see Chris Schuler back in an RSL uniform. First appearance since July 15th of 2015. Closer to getting him back to full fitness as well.
Stay with us here on the post-game show. Coach Jeff Cassar coming up. More to come. Stay with us. Welcome back to Rio Tinto Stadium. Inter Milan defeats RSL 2-1 final. It was a big weekend in Major League Soccer. Playoff races starting to take shape and some big goals.
Yeah, Friday night down in Los Angeles. Steven Gerrard, right place, right time. As LA Galaxy would get the 3 points at home. 3rd consecutive win for Bruce Arena and company. No Kai Kamara. What about Ola Kamara? By the way, how athletic is that? The way he jumps into that ball, knows he's going to get hit by Bill Hamid. But you saw a straight red card to Harrison Awful. It was an awful red card. And Fabiana Spendola, right place, right time. He gets the point on the road for that man, Benny Olsen and DC United. Off to Colorado, Marlon Hairston. 1v1, top of the 18-yard box. Little scissor, far post, side net. What a great goal for Hairston. Full 3 points for Colorado. That is a 14-game unbeaten streak for the Colorado Rapids right now. FC Dallas at home, stop it. The Rabona from Fabian Castillo. Urruti, right place, right time. And then Mauro Diaz, pick this one out. Chicago Fire, just after they get the 3 points at home, they end up losing on the road 3-1. Vancouver Orlando tied 1-1. Diving header, Masato Kudo, top of the 6-yard box. And then Kyle Larin has just been named an all-star. The Canadian international rises up like a salmon at the back post. Snap header, point split in Vancouver. Now you want to see a weird one? This is the San Jose Earthquakes scoring the game-winning goal from Simon Dawkins. And oh, by the way, they've been down 2 men, 2 red cards. San Jose gets the full 3 points at home. Dom Kinnear, 11 versus 9. And we continue the highlights now up in Portland. Seattle coming off a 5-0 win at home against FC Dallas. Well, Diego Valeri, not even named an MLS All-Star. He had 2 on the day. Watch this one. Valeri, far post. I hope he meant it. What a goal that was. Fernando Adi would have the other one. 3-1 win at home. Full 3 points for the Portland Timbers in the Cascadia Cup rivalry. Montreal, NYCFC. NYCFC looking for their 6th win. Their 6th win on the road in Major League Soccer. David Villa gets one. Watch Jack Harrison. In, out. Whoops. Sorry about that, Oyongo. Sorry about that, Evan Bush. And oh, by the way, Frankie Lampard would score as well with his backside. Here's a look at the MLS standings in the Western Conference.
FC Dallas still on top. Colorado 3 points back with 3 games in hand. Galaxy third, RSL fourth. Vancouver and Portland tied for the last 2 spots. Sporting Kansas City and San Jose lurking just below the line, but hoping to move back up. Standings brought to you by Western Governors University. Now, on the postgame show, Jeff Cassar, RSL head coach, joins us. Jeff, a lot of different storylines. You played a lot of guys. For a lot of fans watching on TV, their first chance to see some of these young players. Who made a big positive impression on you tonight?
You know, I thought they all really held their own, and they had to learn really quickly. You know, I think the first group that came in after 30 minutes struggled for the rest of the first half, but then I thought they found their footing for their next 30 minutes that they have. And, you know, the speed of play by Inter is very good. The quality on the ball is very good, and I thought we at times gave them a bit too much respect, and when we were aggressive on them, I thought we were successful.
You know, Jeff, up here we were saying kind of the possession, the decision-making for Inter Milan was one thing. Kind of the collective way the team kind of shifted and closed down passing lanes, recovered, was something really impressive. Really a perfect example of kind of the tactical acumen of Serie A teams. But what do you guys kind of take away, big picture of a night like this where it's ultimately a celebration for the fans over the course of the years for their loyalty to the club?
Well, I thought the first 30 minutes was very good with our starting group. We found the back of the net, which is positive. I thought we were the aggressors and really limited Inter's chances. So I was happy with the start of the game, and I think that's something we're going to carry into against San Jose.
San Jose on Friday, do you think you replicated training? Did you like what you saw out of the guys who are probable starting 11? Obviously, Javier Morales, Nick Raimondo didn't go tonight. But the other guys, are they where you need to be? Because this was fun and the fans enjoyed it, but obviously Friday's a big match.
I think it worked out perfectly for us. I think everybody got a good workout in, really had an opportunity to express themselves. It showed where a lot of things are good. It showed where a lot of players need to grow in some areas. And these games help you grow. And that's the positive we're going to take from it.
Jeff, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you Friday night for San Jose.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jeff.
Jeff Cassar, RSL head coach, joining us. It was 1-1 in stoppage time, and then the back heel, the nutmeg, Jovetic. Jovetic gives Inter Milan a 2-1 win. For RSL away games, follow the action right here on your RSL Network affiliate, or if you're in Salt Lake City, watch each week at our Budweiser partner locations all over the valley. For a list of new locations, including family-friendly ones, visit rsl.com. Take another look at the Western standings. RSL's hosting 8th place San Jose. 6 go to the playoffs. 8th place doesn't sound good, but Dunny, when you look closer, you realize, well, they're only 5 points out of 4th place. And then you look a little closer, you realize they have 1, 2, or even 3 games in hand on the teams in front of them. They know if they're able to come in and get a road point, or if they were able to really play well and get 3 road points. They are right in the middle of this. 8 doesn't sound good, but you've been making a big deal out of the West. This just underscores that point.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, the reality is 3 weeks ago, Real Salt Lake was comfortably in 3rd place. You fast forward after 4 consecutive draws at home, you're leaving significant points on the table, especially against 3 Eastern Conference opponents. Things get sideways really quick. And when you're talking about San Jose, it's a really interesting team. It's a plucky group of players that when you look on paper, you say, I don't know, no one really stands out. I know Wando's there. Bingham's an upcoming goalkeeper, but outside of that, all the other players, there's not one where you say, okay, I have to have him on my team. Yet Dominic Kinnear has a group of players that believe in the identity and the system, and they compete. They compete to that final whistle. To win 2-1 at home against Toronto FC and be down 2 players, lose a guy right before half because of a red, lose a guy right after half because of a red, and then to get 3 points at home, I think it says a lot about the mentality of that group. But again, the Western Conference, I've said it from day one. It's a bloodbath in the West. You have to get as many points as possible against the Eastern Conference. And that, for me, is going to come down to when there is massive regret from teams that are hovering around that playoff spot.
Well, it's another home game. So the chance to get 3 points. We looked at it from San Jose's perspective, from RSL's perspective. A couple home wins, and the next week could really turn this around for them. More on the postgame show next. Post-game show, Inter Milan with a late goal has just defeated RSL 2-1. Let's take a look at the schedule for RSL Friday. San Jose, and then the road trip at Philadelphia, at Toronto. The club will stay on the road there with the midweek game in Toronto, and they're back home to face Chicago.
I actually like this schedule. I mean, for a team right now that people think are hitting a little bit of a dip mid-season, I think this is probably the most agreeable schedule that RSL could have at the moment. Philadelphia, a team where we saw New York Rebels on Sunday up 2-0. 2 quick mistakes, and Philly ends up tying the game. Toronto FC, I can't figure out what's happening to Toronto FC. I'm not sure they can figure out what's happening to Toronto FC, and they've been better on the road than they have been at home this season. And then the Chicago Fire, at times you can't understand if it's a team that's got a future ahead of them or it's just another dumpster fire year. So listen, it's a big 2 weeks for RSL. This could either solidify them in playoff spots or we could be in panic mode on the backside of that Fire game.
Open Cup quarterfinals tomorrow. LA and Seattle, a big game in the West. How about Chicago and Fort Lauderdale in the East? Lower division club alive with the chance to beat the Fire and get to the semis.
Yeah, the NASL side, Fort Lauderdale Strikers, they've already beaten DC United. They beat Orlando City in Orlando. Now they're in Chicago. If they beat Chicago, they face the winner of New England and Philadelphia. I like their chances. It's a bunch of ex-guys from Major League Soccer. I actually interviewed Gene Alexander today for SiriusXM. He's excited about his opportunity. I always love the big stories. Now, this is the time when people start paying attention to the U.S. Open Cup and give it the credit it deserves, unlike what we saw earlier a couple weeks ago.
That's going to do it from Rio Tinto Stadium tonight. For Brian Dunseth, I'm David James saying so long. Remember, Friday night we'll be back. Join us here as RSL takes on San Jose. For tickets, visit rsl.com. This has been a presentation of Real Salt Lake and Major League Soccer. Production services provided by Niles Media Group and the American Sports Network. Our final score once again, Inter Milan 2, RSL 1. Jordan Allen with the goal for RSL. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you Friday. Good night from Sandy.